Three shots of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine provide significant protection against the new Omicron variant. That's according to a study by Israeli researchers. The findings were similar to those presented by Pfizer and BioNTech earlier this week, which showed a three-shot course of their vaccine was able to neutralize the new variant in a laboratory test. The Israeli study was carried out by the Sheba Medical Center and the Health Ministry's Central Virology Laboratory. It compared the blood of 20 people who had received 2 vaccine doses 5 to 6 months earlier to the same number of individuals who had received a booster a month before. Those who did not receive the booster shots had no neutralization ability against Omicron. Researchers said the booster increased this by about 100-fold. The Israeli research follows a study from South Africa that found the Omicron variant can partially evade protection from 2 doses. South Africa alerted the world to Omicron late last month, prompting alarm that the highly mutated variant could trigger a new surge in global infections.
You're still kind of in the state of how do we even start? Where do we go from here? You know, like just trying to see into the future, and it's right now we're not to that point yet. We don't even know where we're gonna start.
But it's gonna get better.
Yeah, it'll get better.
Neighbors help neighbors. We're gonna be back.
Yeah.
We're up here trying to get what we can out of our business here. You know, we had our fight training gym was here, and as you can see now, we're trying to get everything out we can. You know, that's left. Everything is pretty much destroyed, so we're starting over. It's okay.
We're just here cooking some burgers and hot dogs. We didn't know how we could help out. We knew we had a grill and we got some people to donate some food, so we thought we could at least grill, hand out some water. We're gonna be here as long as we got food.
Rescue workers scoured through debris in Kentucky as hope of finding survivors dwindled Sunday after tornadoes tore through the U.S. Midwest and South on Friday night, killing people in at least 5 states.
To the people of America, there is no lens big enough to show you the extent of the damage here in Graves County or in Kentucky.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear said one tornado tore across more than 200 miles of land, almost all of that in Kentucky, where some 300 members of the National Guard have been deployed to help the victims.
And we are still hoping as we move forward for some miracles.
The governor said at least 80 people in his state were confirmed dead, and the toll was expected to exceed 100. The twisters devastated the small town of Mayfield, Kentucky, destroying a candle factory. Across the community of 10,000 people in the state's southwestern corner, homes were flattened, trees uprooted, and street signs were mangled.
The wind was blowing so hard I nearly fell and got here in the hallway.
Most of 53-year-old Lori Lopez's home was completely destroyed, the second time she's faced such a loss.
In 2007, my house burnt completely to the ground. We rebuilt. Then my husband died in 2009, and I had to file bankruptcy and lost everything again. And now I've lost it all again.
Beshear said the tornadoes were the most destructive in the state's history, and on Sunday asked the federal government to declare a major federal disaster.
A state memorial service was held for South Africa's late President F.W. de Klerk on Sunday, 1 month after his death. De Klerk, the last president of the apartheid era, died at the age of 85 after battling cancer. At the Cape Town event, President Cyril Ramaphosa paid tribute.
In many ways, the journey of our nation was not unlike the path that the life of F.W. de Klerk followed. Born into white privilege, as well as power, raised in the ideology of racial superiority, committed to the defense of an abhorrent and inhuman system, F.W. de Klerk would come to play an important role in our democratic transition.
Also speaking at the event was de Klerk's widow, Alita.
I want to pay tribute to this man, the love of my life, who became perhaps, and listen to this, unlikely but a committed parent to a new country.
De Klerk is credited with supervising a peaceful transition from a white minority to a black majority government under Nelson Mandela. He shared the Nobel Peace Prize with Mandela in 1993. But many black South Africans suspect he was motivated by pragmatism, given that his government was internationally isolated and facing the prospect of a civil war.
Being the end of the day,
De Klerk was buried in a private ceremony last month. Giving a state funeral to a former apartheid ruler, even one who negotiated its end, could have provoked protests.
The United States reached 800,000 COVID-19 related deaths on Sunday, according to a Reuters tally, a number that exceeds the entire population of North Dakota. The milestone comes as the nation braces for a potential surge in infections due to colder weather pushing more Americans indoors and the highly transmissible Omicron variant. Even with vaccines widely and freely available, the U.S. has lost more lives to the virus this year than in 2020 due to the more contagious Delta variant and people refusing to get the vaccine.
Will you get vaccinated? No?
No. Health experts say the deaths in 2021, which account for 57% of the total U.S. COVID death toll since the pandemic started, were mostly unvaccinated patients. Other countries have lost far fewer lives per capita in the past 11 months, according to the Reuters analysis, which shows that among the wealthy G7 nations, the U.S. ranks the worst in terms of per capita deaths from COVID-19. Among the more than 200 nations and territories tracked by Reuters, the U.S. ranks 36th. The U.S. has the highest total of reported COVID-19 deaths in the world, followed by Brazil and India, according to the Reuters tally. New infections in the U.S. were averaging around 120,000 a day, with Michigan contributing the most cases. According to the Michigan Health and Hospital Association, COVID-19 patients were filling state hospitals at record levels, and 3 out of 4 patients were unvaccinated. The Reuters analysis showed that of the 10 states that reported the most deaths per capita in the last 11 months, 8 were from the country's south, with Alabama, Oklahoma, and West Virginia reporting the most deaths per capita from January 1st to the end of November.